and welcome to the Pekin First podcast. My name is Josh, and I get the absolute pleasure of serving as the online ministries director right here at Pekin First.
Hello, Josh, and hello, everyone. My name is Sean, and I get the pleasure of serving as the pastor here at Pekin First.
And welcome to episode 65. Before we start, though, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And you'll get a little joke out of that if you listen to the sermon this weekend. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe at the bottom of your screen or on your favorite podcasting app.
That's right.
That's right. All right. This is episode 65. Coaching from the Sidelines is the title. Before we start, every week we go and we do this week's personal best, something great that's happened in our lives that is just an upbeat moment of the week, or if we've been gone 2 weeks or whatever that is. So yeah, it's just a good way to start every podcast. So I'll go first. And Sunday, very, very, very early in the morning, to about 5 o'clock to be exact, I left for a little town, and I've forgotten the name of it. It's up by Dixon, Illinois, and I drove up to watch Emily play volleyball. She had a volleyball tournament up there, and I love to drive. Anybody who knows me knows I love to drive. I used to do a drive moment, if you will. I can't think of what the name was, but I got to drive up, and I've lived in Illinois my entire life. It is the most beautiful scenic drive I've ever been on in Illinois.
Wow.
Right next to it not so much along 29. I kind of have done that one, but then I got on 180 and went 80 for like 3 miles, and all of a sudden I'm on Route 26 and I'm up against Rock River is what it was called.
Wow.
26-2. And what a beautiful countryside there. So yeah. And the other thing that happened was it was very foggy all the way up until about Ohio, Illinois. And did you know there was an Ohio, Illinois?
I did not.
Yeah.
Did not.
Oh, I went to Oregon is where it's my final destination. Oregon, Illinois. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but I
so
got
confusing.
Right.
There's Nashville also. I know.
There was a little town called Out of the Way.
Out of the way.
What? Or the Grand Detour. I'm sorry. It was called the Grand Detour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, I was driving up, very, very foggy, and I got to right outside Ohio, and all of a sudden the sun kind of popped up, and I couldn't see 4 foot in front of me. And then 30 seconds later,
boom,
it was clear.
Yeah. Just in time to see the scenery.
Just in time. God shed a little light on it. Boom. There it went.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's a good moment.
Yep.
Yeah, my good moment was Saturday, which was Valentine's Day, and Sandra and I've been married for almost 35 years now, and this will be our 35th wedding anniversary in March, and so we've had our a lot of Valentine's Days together, and it's to the point now where we just try to come up with something really special that we can do together. We have not been to this restaurant that people have told us about called Ardor in Peoria, Ardor, Ardor. I'm going to put a little plug in for them. It's just a little spot downtown Peoria. You'd miss it probably if you went by. It's near the river, so it's probably East Peoria is where I'm thinking, aren't I? Riverwalk area.
There's one on each side.
Okay.
But it could be it could be downtown Peoria.
Okay. Yeah. Where the Museum of Art is located.
Okay, that's downtown Peoria.
Downtown Peoria. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, really, right next door to the Museum of Art. It's a bakery and a bistro, and they had an amazing breakfast. We went and had breakfast there. We don't really ever go out for breakfast, but we were like, you know what, this sounds like a good thing to do, so let's go to breakfast. We called them, and they had a cancellation first thing in the morning. We called it 8 o'clock. They opened at 8. And they said, well, we just had a cancellation. Can you get here in 15 minutes? And we're like sitting there going, okay, let's go. Let's get dressed and get up there. So we got a little got there a little late, but it was a wonderful breakfast. And then we took a walk together outside. It's weather's fairly nice here now, so for a little bit. And so we had a nice little walk together, just spent the day, and had church Saturday night. So Saturday was a really good day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always good. You find those moments to reconnect.
Yep.
And just
when your lives are busy, you both got things you're doing and busy times, so you got to find those moments.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. This is episode 65 again. This is coaching from the sidelines. Sometimes God doesn't remove us from the game. Instead, he coaches us from the sidelines. This episode explores how faith grows when God guides, encourages, corrects, and prepares us, even when we feel inactive, overlooked, or waiting. There is a couple core scriptures, and I'm just going to go through one of them at the moment, and that's Hebrews 12, 1 through 2. And it says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that shows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up, and let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion who initiates and perfects our faith. So that is a awesome script for this. So where this came from is, my daughter's playing volleyball. I just told you she was playing volleyball, and she has been sitting the bench a little bit, and just it made me think of, honestly, where it came from was me and her mother like to coach from the sidelines, and we don't think the coach is benching our daughter. Why is that? Right. That isn't right.
Oh yeah.
And I just started thinking about it as I was driving, and I'm like, you know what? Am I the coach?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Right.
And so coaching from the sidelines, God coaches us. He sets us down sometimes just to slow us down.
That's a really good point. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you do. You have to get set down and think through it. There's a great story about Michael Jordan's second year in the NBA, and he broke his foot his second year. He had run Rookie of the Year, second year. He was ready to go. They lead the Bulls to the championship, broke his foot, and was out for the whole, they told him he was going to be out for the rest of the season. And Michael said, nope, not going to do it. I'm going to be back. And he said to the owners, the management, he said, I'm going to go to North Carolina, which is where his home is, and I'm going to rehab over there. And what he did was he secretly ended up playing pickup ball with some of his buddies over in North Carolina so that he could get back into playing. They told him he couldn't play. They said, you cannot play. And he's like, oh, yeah, no problem. I won't play. And yeah, he goes over there and does that. And, but it just kind of reminded me of that. He didn't want to not play. But he did need to sit down, and he did need to take some time, and he did need to figure things out. But he also was proactive while he was doing it too, So listening to God, letting God coach us and teach us while we're waiting, while we're sitting, while we're feeling antsy about trying to get back in the game is so important in our life of discipleship.
Absolutely. And that sitting and waiting, just like you said, sometimes it makes you feel stuck in life. Yeah. Maybe, it's a waiting season in our life. We're not in control, and we can't get it to just move forward. And I run into that a lot, even though I'm so busy at life. Sometimes it doesn't feel like I'm making progress. And sometimes I'm watching other people, be successful, if you will, or move their lives forward. And part of that is not realizing that my life is moving forward too. It's just, I'm, number one, sometimes too busy to notice, or unappreciative sometimes of the things that are moving in my life. Yeah. And what if maybe it's not maybe your waiting season, maybe your bench time isn't waiting season, but maybe it's coaching time. Maybe God is slowing you down to teach you something, to observe something. That's a lot of players that get benched. The coach says, now this is your time to observe, right? And learn the rotations and learn the passes in basketball, or the plays in baseball. There's a method to the madness. Right. And the coach knows best.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, some of that is the best training you can ever get. Some of these star players, they had to sit, they had to wait their turn behind other players and learn and carry the clipboard for a while and just learn the plays and practice. You give everything you've got. But, and that's the way it is in our life of discipleship. I mean, right now we're getting ready to go into a Lenten season where we're going to talk about characters in the Lenten story that probably weren't getting starting time, if we want to think of it that way. A lot of times when we get into Lent, we want to talk about Peter and Judas and, some of the other major players, the starting five, if you will. We're going to look at some of the background players, some of the people who maybe didn't get a lot of playing time, but that their lives made a huge impact on the unfolding story of Jesus and his journey to the cross.
Well, and you mentioned the background players, if you will, and sometimes that's what it's second string, I'll call them, but sometimes you still have to be. It reminds me of the movie Rudy, right?
Yeah.
He wanted to be on that field so bad, but he was totally happy getting everybody else ready, right? So the growth requires participation, and God forms disciples, not robots. So there's a choice in the whole thing. How hard do you want to work to get to where you want to go? Faith develops through decisions. So the decisions that you make will dictate your playing time or dictate your moving forward time. God gives us leeway, or how do you put it? Leeway. God gives us opportunity to make decisions. What we do with those decisions is sets a path.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And there's also, the importance of thinking about the body imagery that Paul talks about so often, is we're all part of a body. We're not all the head. We're not all the eyes. We're not all the hands. We all have our part to play. And that's what's really important, is realizing what your role is, what your part is, and being the very best part that you can be in the grand scheme of things. And that plays out in every area of our lives. Sometimes we're not going to be the boss, and sometimes we're not going to be the president of the organization. Sometimes we're not going to be, the starting quarterback. Whatever the situation is, we fill our role and we do it the very best we possibly can, and we give God the thanks for it, and He uses us in a very special way.
Well, and that's what you say. Sometimes you're not going to be the president, or you're not, of a company or whatever. You're not going to be the boss. It's been many years since I work for people, but I run the company.
Right.
So that's honestly one of my biggest fears is, what happens if I have to go back and actually, I say actually work for somebody. I work, but work on somebody else's timeline, if you will, because I'm given this leeway to do things on my time, and which allows me to do a lot of things I enjoy, such as this, such as online ministries and stuff like that. So, that's one of my biggest fears for sure.
We got way off script here, didn't we?
I was trying to bring it back, and I just couldn't bring it
Sorry
back.
about that.
No, that's okay. So we were talking about growth requires participation, and even Jesus knew this, and He sent the disciples out 2 by 2, right? To do His work, as God commands us to do.
That's right.
Is create disciples,
right? So,
trust is separate subject. Trust is built in responsibility. God allows us to run plays, and mistakes become teaching moments or moments of faith. Because as we make mistakes, you got to trust that it's going to come out okay on the other side, and God is guiding us. His silence is often instruction. Right. So, reading scripture, and when I think of instruction, I think of scripture, because He tells us exactly what to do. We have to get into the scripture, and decisions will come easier. The teaching moments won't be as often.
Yeah, that's right. And when we do make mistakes, we're all going to make mistakes every day. We need to learn from them and grow from them. And that's going back to the metaphor of the sports team. If you are on a basketball team and you miss 14 shots in a row, the coach is probably going to set you down for a little while. Are you going to pout and say, I'm never playing this game again? Or are you going to go back in the gym the next day and shoot 100 shots to get better at playing, so you can get back out there and make points for the team? One of the most, I think, famous stories of this in the Bible is a Lenten story of Peter denying Jesus 3 times, and he, that could have been the end of the road for Peter. He denied Jesus 3 times, and Jesus catches him in it, and forgives him. And Peter accepts that forgiveness, and he goes on to become the great leader of the church. So, what are we going to do with our mistakes? What are we going to do with those moments that don't feel like this is the way I wrote this up? This is not the way the script's supposed to go. This is not how I planned it, And sometimes we start having some success, and then suddenly we're not successful anymore, right? So those are the big moments too, to figure out, how do I get back to where I was, or to make another a trajectory that moves me in a different direction where I can have more success. And success is a terrible word to use, but and when we think about discipleship, it's progress, it's growth, it's development as followers of Jesus.
And yeah, success is in the eyes of the beholder, right? So what is your idea of success? Is it money and power, or is it faith and discipleship and family? That to me is success, and it took me a long time to get there, because everything around us says that success is money and things, and that's just, it's not the definition of success.
Let me give a teaser. I'm going to ask this question in my sermon this weekend. It's the very first question I'm going to ask in the sermon, just for people to ponder. If you knew you only had 6 days left to live, what would you do?
Oh, wow.
And because that's where we're going to start this weekend with Lent, is Jesus 6 days before his execution, meeting in the home of Lazarus and Mary and Martha. And, what would you do? I mean, what would success look like for you at that moment? Everything that we try to live our lives by, based on the fact that we think we're invincible or immortal, suddenly you realize you don't have any of that anymore. Now what are you going to do? So,
Well, and so let's talk about I'm gonna try to bring us home here. The hard part. Let's
Going
talk
down
about
all kinds of roads here today.
The hard part. Let's talk about the hard part of, let's get back in play. And what do we do to feel like we're moving ourselves forward? We often want rescued and not coached. I want the coach to give me playing time. Okay. Have you earned playing time? Right. There's two different ways to do that. Always pause before reacting. Sometimes in a game, you don't have that luxury. However, sometimes the decision should become natural of the right thing to do when you're immersed with the love of God, so that it becomes a natural thing. Are we still going to make mistakes? Yes. Are we still going to pass the ball wrong or whatever? Absolutely. But it comes back real quick. Review your life like game film. Where did you get your sense of guidance? Where did you ignore it? And spend 1 week. I love this question, and this comes out of a book that I have. Spend 1 week asking daily, Coach, what do you want me to learn today?
Good question.
That's a good prayer to have to God.
Yeah,
God, what do you want me to learn today?
Yeah. That's wonderful. I'll say one thing too about you used the language of earning it a minute ago. And I want to be clear with those who are listening, as far as our discipleship is concerned. You can't earn God's love. In the real world, there are ways that we can earn our spot, earn our place, and we use that language of earning it in sports. Have you put enough practice in? Have you shown the coach that you're willing to do whatever it takes? A good team player, you earn that spot. But when it comes to discipleship, there's no real earning it. It's given to us. It's grace. It's a free gift. God gives that to us. Now, once we get that gift, then we have to learn how to apply that and be the player that God has called us to be in the church and in the world. I want to make sure that people understand, especially if you're not a Christian and you're listening to us right now. God doesn't expect you to do anything or earn his love in any way. God's gift to you is free, and there's nothing you can do to earn it. There's nothing you can do to lose it. And God's gonna offer that to you, and then let you enter the game at that point.
That was kind of a bad analogy, but
it wasn't. No, it was a really good analogy. I think it just helped to make sure that was put out there for that person who might be listening, thinking, "Oh man, I got to earn God's love," and no, you don't.
No, you do not. No, not for sure. Always remember, you're not alone. He's not benching you. He's teaching you.
Yeah.
Right. And you are always being developed. God has a plan for you, and he is always developing you.
Yeah.
The other thing is, as we look at the people around us, stop taking directions from people who have never been places you want to go. And that was a great quote that I heard this week, and it fit right in. And I'm like, absolutely. And that's why we surround ourselves, at least me, I surround myself with people here at the church a lot, more than I used to, for sure. But I surround myself with good people, because that's where I want to go.
Yeah.
I want to be a good person. I want to know God's love. I want to develop my faith to know God better. And there's no, and how people here in the community, in the church especially, but in the community, we reach out and we help people. Every time I look around, there's people helping people. And that's why I love this community, for sure.
Right. Good stuff.
All right. I think that is all the time we have for today. Any words of parting? We've got Lenten lunches coming up this coming Wednesday. So take a break from work and just get that, bring the hump day up, right?
Yeah.
And
the whole Lenten season. I mean, this is a wonderful time. 6 weeks is all you need to think about right now. What can you do the next 6 weeks to grow spiritually? And, we challenge each other to fast, to pray, to do something different in your life for the next 6 weeks. If it's maybe attending church, maybe you've never been to church, you're like, okay, I'm going to try church for 6 weeks. Come and be a part of one of our worship services. Come to a Bible study. There's so many things that we're offering over the next 6 weeks that you can plug into, and would be a wonderful thing to do.
Well, and people always think you got to give up something for Lent. Maybe it's doing something different for Lent, something better to grow in your faith. And I always forget that. I always not forget that, but I don't think that. I always think I got to give up something.
Right.
And you don't necessarily have to do something different to grow your faith. And maybe it's coming to a Lenten lunch or one of the Lenten Bible studies. There's 3 of them.
Right.
There's Sunday, Wednesday, and Tuesday. So check those out on our website. I think that's all I got. So, all right. We're going to end it on that. And just remember, God put us here to do great things. So let's go do great things.